I can't write no dissertation. I won't be at graduation. No, I've tried, and I tried,
And I've tried.
and I tried. I can't write no.
So what is this special book? It's called Writing Your Dissertation in 15 Minutes a Day. It's written by Joan Bolker. The audience for the book are graduate students and thesis advisors. Her main objective is to provide you or your advisee with a guide to get you through the dissertation process, ultimately aiming to make you finish a dissertation. Let's explain the contents of the book. Joan Bolker starts writing about choosing a topic, advisor, and a committee. After that, she just tells you to write. She tells you to set a certain page limit that you're going to write each day, and that you then just have to write it. It doesn't matter what you write about or how you write it. The most important thing is that you write every single day. After you've been writing for a long time, you basically have your zero draft. That's your compilation of pages of what you've been writing about thus far. Usually it's a pretty disorganized set of pages, and you have to structure that. And when you do that, you get to your first draft. She then writes about getting to the midpoint of your dissertation and the process and progress related to that. And after that, she starts talking about your second draft and beyond. She writes about how to revise your paper. She then talks about interruptions from outside and inside. Outside could be a parent that keeps talking to you while you need to work, and inside interruptions could be your own mind wandering off. She also writes about dissertation support groups that may help you get through the process. And finally, she writes about finishing your dissertation and life after your dissertation. For example, you may want to publish your book. So, if you want to be successful, you have to write one day at a time. Let's talk about the strengths and weaknesses of the book. The book is very easy to read and is very motivational. It also provides a psychological perspective to writing, like reinforcement and punishing yourself. And it's very logically structured. What was useful to me was especially the beginning, like their zero draft. Just writing a set amount of pages a day, no matter what comes up, really helped me, since I often sit with an empty page and then don't know what to do because I want everything perfect the first time, which the author says doesn't matter, you can change things later. The weaknesses of the book are that the title is kind of misleading, because even the author herself admits that it's not really possible to finish their dissertation quickly if you just write 15 minutes a day. It also has a lot of fluff, a lot of examples and stories that you may not need to get the point. It's also kind of outdated, since it has an appendix that talks about whether to use a computer writing your dissertation or not, and that you have to save your files to a floppy disk. It also seems that she sometimes underestimates her audience. It sometimes seems as we don't know anything about writing yet, which isn't true, as most of us have written a master's thesis. I thought I would like to have some elaboration on how to actually write a proposal and how to write well. She's very good at telling you how to overcome a writing block, but she doesn't really tell you how to write a paper or a dissertation well. So how well was the material communicated? As mentioned earlier, it was very clear, very basic and easy to read, and she writes in a very informal way. It's also very interesting and motivating and very personal, as she writes a lot about her own dissertation process. She also provided many examples, which is both good and bad. The author provided a few checklists that you can use as a writer. They're very clear and simple and easy to use. Then the conclusion. The main point of the book is to write in order to think, and to write one day at a time. As long as you keep writing though, you should be able to finish your dissertation. It's a very easy, interesting and motivating book to read. However, it needs to be updated, and it's mostly aimed at beginning writers, I get the feeling. Would I recommend it? Yes and no. I would not recommend it for people who really want to learn how to technically write well. But I would definitely recommend it for people who have a writing block and don't know how to continue anymore. For that reason, this book can definitely help you finish your dissertation and to graduate.